Behind the magnificent walls of the Vatican lies a hidden world. A world of secrets so profound, so meticulously concealed, that the truth has eluded historians, journalists, and even the most dedicated scholars for centuries. What knowledge does the Church guard so fiercely that it restricts access to the public? Are these merely historical curiosities, or do they reveal a darker, more complex side of power, control, and influence? Tonight, we embark on an unprecedented journey into the 70 terrifying secrets the Vatican is hiding from the world. A journey through archives, tunnels, and texts that may change everything we think we know about faith and authority. 1. Vatican Secret Archives. The Vatican Secret Archives, known in Latin as Archivum Secretum Vaticanum, are among the most mysterious and heavily guarded collections of documents in the world. Contrary to popular misconception, secret here does not imply hidden for nefarious reasons. It originates from the Latin word secretum, meaning private or personal. Yet, this explanation barely scratches the surface. The archives contain over 85 kilometers of shelving, storing documents that span more than 12 centuries of church history, including correspondence from popes, state papers, and diplomatic letters. Access is tightly controlled. Only qualified scholars can request entry, and even then, approval is limited and monitored. Many materials remain entirely inaccessible, including records that could illuminate suppressed political dealings, doctrinal debates, or controversial church practices. Researchers who have entered report encountering fragile manuscripts, coded letters, and cryptic marginalia, often accompanied by strict instructions to handle them with extreme care. Among the rumored contents are documents detailing secret alliances with political powers, accounts of inquisitions and trials, and records that contradict publicly accepted history. The Vatican maintains a careful balance, preserving knowledge while controlling who can interpret or reveal it. Scholars argue that the archives offer unparalleled insight into Europe's historical power dynamics. Yet centuries of secrecy suggest the Church is guarding more than just dusty old papers, potentially truths that could challenge both historical narratives and contemporary faith. Speculation persists about hidden sections containing records of heretical movements, esoteric rituals, or even encounters with phenomena that mainstream history refuses to acknowledge. Though many of these claims remain unverified, they underscore the mystique and power of the Vatican Secret Archives. 2. Forbidden Manuscripts. The Vatican is home to thousands of manuscripts that have been censored, suppressed, or entirely removed from public view. These forbidden manuscripts include early theological treatises, lost gospels, magical texts, and writings deemed heretical at the time of their creation. Some texts offer alternative interpretations of biblical events, while others suggest that certain church doctrines were influenced by political or philosophical pressures rather than purely spiritual considerations. Historical records indicate that forbidden manuscripts were often seized during the Counter-Reformation to prevent challenges to church authority. Scholars who study these texts hint at hidden insights into the early church, including practices, rituals, and the power struggles among the early clergy. The most intriguing aspect of these forbidden works is their potential to rewrite historical understanding. Rumors suggest that some manuscripts contain lost knowledge of science, medicine, and cosmology, preserved by monks who feared persecution. While some dismiss these ideas as myths, the sheer existence of the manuscripts and the Church's continued reluctance to make them public raises questions about what truths may be carefully withheld from public scrutiny. 3. Grand Grimoire, Black Magic Book. Among the most sensational legends surrounding the Vatican is the alleged possession of a Grand Grimoire, a book of black magic. While direct evidence remains scarce, historical accounts and rumors suggest that the Church collected texts related to ritual magic, summoning practices, and forbidden occult knowledge during the Middle Ages. The Grand Grimoire is said to contain instructions for rituals, invocations, and spiritual manipulation, a compilation of esoteric knowledge often associated with fear, superstition, and power. Its alleged presence within the Vatican archives points to a duality. While the Church publicly condemns witchcraft and occultism, it may have secretly studied these practices to understand, control, or counteract them. Speculation runs deep regarding why such knowledge would be preserved. Was it purely academic, intended to study human belief systems? Or was it a strategic resource for influencing events behind the scenes? Regardless, the mystique surrounding the Grand Grimoire has fueled centuries of fascination, conspiracy theories, and cinematic portrayals of the Vatican as a center of hidden mystical power. 4. Lost Gospels and Hidden Scriptures. Beyond the canonical Bible, the Vatican is rumored to house lost Gospels and hidden scriptures, texts that present alternative accounts of Jesus, the apostles, and early Christian communities. These documents, suppressed or excluded during the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, could dramatically alter our understanding of early Christianity. Some of these writings allegedly challenge traditional narratives, describing events, teachings, and interpretations that diverge sharply from the official canon. While scholars often approach these texts cautiously, they raise compelling questions about the formation of church doctrine and the decisions that defined which texts were preserved versus those that were hidden. The secrecy surrounding these Gospels is tightly controlled. Even partial access requires navigating complex bureaucracies, underscoring the Church's commitment to maintaining doctrinal consistency. Speculation persists that these lost Gospels could contain revelations about early Christian leadership conflicts, esoteric teachings, or suppressed miracles, though verification remains difficult. 5. Codex Vaticanus. The Codex Vaticanus, housed in the Vatican Library, is one of the oldest surviving manuscripts of the Bible, dating back to the 4th century. Written in Greek on vellum, it represents a cornerstone of biblical scholarship. Yet, the Codex also harbors mysteries. Scholars note missing sections, annotations, and textual variations that raise questions about how early scriptural texts were transmitted and altered. Its secrecy, despite its importance, has fueled speculation. Were these textual gaps intentional? Do they reflect lost knowledge about the early Church's theological debates? The Codex Vaticanus, more than a religious artifact, serves as a window into the Church's historical priorities and the evolution of sacred texts. 6. Hidden Vatican Rooms. The Vatican is not just a repository of documents. It is also a labyrinth of hidden rooms, many inaccessible, even to senior clergy. These spaces reportedly house relics, confidential documents, and ceremonial items that the public may never see. Historical accounts describe rooms used for secret meetings, religious rites, and even strategic planning during times of conflict. Access is highly restricted, and rumors suggest that some rooms are intentionally concealed within walls or behind false doors, emphasizing the extent of secrecy and control within the Vatican's architecture. 7. Secret passages and tunnels. Beneath St. Peter's Basilica, the surrounding Vatican grounds, lies a network of secret passages and tunnels. Historically, these were designed for safe evacuation during sieges, discreet movement of clergy, or emergency access to key locations. Some tunnels are documented, while others remain the subject of speculation, rumored to connect the Vatican to nearby Rome, or even to foreign embassies. Their existence underlies the strategic thinking of the Church, ensuring that power and knowledge could be preserved and protected under any circumstances. 8. Vatican Necropolis. The Vatican Necropolis, located beneath St. Peter's Basilica, is an ancient burial ground dating back to Roman times. Archaeological studies have revealed tombs, relics, and possible remains of early Christian figures. Legends suggest that hidden relics of saints and early popes lie undisturbed, guarded by layers of secrecy. Scholars and archaeologists who have studied the site describe a sacred labyrinth where historical, spiritual, and possibly political significance intersect. 9. Chronovisor time device legend. One of the most extraordinary rumors is the existence of a chronovisor, a supposed device capable of viewing past events. While widely considered speculative, testimonies and alleged insider accounts fuel fascination with the possibility of technology that transcends time. The legend claims that the Vatican used this device to witness historical events firsthand, from Jesus' crucifixion to political councils in the Renaissance. Whether real or myth, the Chronovisor reflects the cultural imagination surrounding Vatican secrecy and its supposed access to forbidden knowledge. 10. Ancient prophecies. The Vatican allegedly maintains a collection of ancient prophecies, ranging from apocalyptic predictions to visions concerning political and religious developments. While some are public, many remain classified, leaving scholars to speculate about their contents and implications. Prophecies often intersect with historical events, leading to questions about how much the Church knew and when, and whether such knowledge influenced its decisions. The secrecy surrounding these writings fuels intrigue and inspires theories about hidden foreknowledge. 11. Symbols and codes, architecture, and manuscripts in the Vatican are rich with symbols, ciphers, and hidden codes. Scholars interpret these as theological messages, warnings, or markers of secret knowledge. From the iconography in the Sistine Chapel to cryptic marginalia in manuscripts, these symbols suggest layers of meaning beyond surface interpretations. Some researchers argue that they encode political, spiritual, or historical information intentionally obscured from casual observers. 12. Secret political deals. Historical research indicates that the Vatican has engaged in clandestine political negotiations throughout centuries, from medieval alliances to 20th century diplomacy. These deals often influenced wars, treaties, and global power dynamics, yet many remain undocumented or hidden within archives. The secrecy of such negotiations highlights the dual role of the Vatican, a spiritual institution navigating temporal power, where hidden agreements could shape the fate of nations without public scrutiny. 13. Vatican and World War II. The Vatican's role during the Second World War remains one of the most contentious and mysterious chapters in its long history. While officially neutral, evidence suggests that the Holy See engaged in a delicate balance of diplomacy between the Axis and Allied powers. Documents preserved in the Vatican's secret archives indicate communications with Mussolini's Italy, Nazi Germany, and various resistance networks. Critics argue that the Church's neutrality allowed it to protect its own interests, while perhaps turning a blind eye to atrocities. Conversely, defenders highlight the Vatican's efforts to save thousands of Jews and refugees, including clandestine operations to issue false documents and shelter individuals in church properties. The Vatican's archives, however, remain partially closed, fueling speculation. Some historians believe there are undisclosed agreements and letters that could reveal more controversial aspects of Vatican diplomacy, including possible complicity or strategic silence regarding wartime crimes. The tension between moral authority and political expedience is central to understanding the Vatican during World War II, illustrating a recurring theme: the Church as a guardian of faith, yet a player in temporal power. 14. Mussolini-era secrets. The Lateran Treaty of 1929, signed between the Vatican and Mussolini's Italy, officially recognized the Vatican as a sovereign entity and established Catholicism as the state religion. While celebrated publicly, historians believe there were behind-the-scenes negotiations with profound implications. Secret correspondence suggests that both parties made concessions unknown to the public. Some letters hint at financial arrangements, political influence, and intelligence sharing. The Vatican as approach during Mussolini. As fascist regime demonstrates how religious institutions can maneuver to secure survival, autonomy, and authority, even under authoritarian governments. Rumors persist of undocumented meetings where the Church influenced decisions or provided intelligence that shaped Italy's domestic and foreign policies. Such secrecy underscores the Vatican's strategic pragmatism in historical crisis. 15. Cold War intelligence. During the Cold War, the Vatican's influence extended beyond spiritual guidance into intelligence and geopolitics. The Church's global network of clergy, embassies, and religious institutions provided avenues for information flow between East and West. It is believed that the Vatican acted as a covert mediator, conveying intelligence, facilitating negotiations, and sometimes exerting pressure on political leaders. Documents suggest involvement in efforts to curb communist influence in Europe, particularly in Poland and Eastern Europe. Speculation surrounds the Vatican's role in supporting or undermining political movements, often through clandestine channels. While direct evidence is limited due to the restricted nature of archives, the historical patterns reveal a church deeply intertwined with global power structures, leveraging its moral authority for strategic purposes. 16. Silent assassinations. The notion of silent assassinations within the Vatican may sound sensational, yet historical accounts point to mysterious deaths, sudden disappearances, and unexplained incidents among clergy and officials. While concrete proof is elusive, investigative historians note patterns where certain individuals died or vanished at critical moments, often coinciding with disputes over church policy or access to sensitive knowledge. Speculation suggests that these deaths may have been politically motivated, designed to prevent leaks, and maintain secrecy or eliminate rivals. Such accounts, whether exaggerated or factual, highlight the high stakes of Vatican power struggles and the lengths to which institutional secrecy can extend. 17. Internal power struggles. Throughout history, the Vatican has been a site of intense internal rivalries involving cardinals, bishops, and advisors. Power struggles often revolved around the papacy itself, control over doctrinal interpretations, and influence over church finances. Historians note that factions formed based on theological alignment, family lineage, or political ideology. Meetings were secret, decisions undocumented, and outcomes often undisclosed. Such rivalries impacted not only church governance, but also international diplomacy, revealing a complex web of influence that extended far beyond Rome. 18. Swiss Guard hidden history. The Pontifical Swiss Guard, established in 1506, is famed for its colorful uniforms and ceremonial duties. Yet, their history is far more complex. Beyond ceremonial functions, the guards have served as protectors of church secrets, sometimes intervening in espionage, assassination plots, or clandestine movements of sensitive materials. Records suggest that the Swiss Guard were trained in intelligence gathering, emergency evacuation procedures, and protective strategies. Their history intertwines with critical events, such as the sack of Rome in 1527, showcasing their role in preserving Vatican security and its secrets under extreme duress. 19. Sacrifice of 1527. The sack of Rome in 1527 remains a defining moment in Vatican history, when mercenary forces of the Holy Roman Empire invaded the city. Many clergy, citizens, and defenders were killed or imprisoned, and treasures were looted. The Vatican's response, including secret evacuation routes and protective measures, is documented sparingly. Rumors suggest that sensitive relics and documents were hidden or transported to undisclosed locations. This event highlights the vulnerability of the Church, yet also its capacity to safeguard knowledge and authority under existential threats. 20. Secret escape routes. The Vatican's architecture includes hidden corridors, tunnels, and concealed stairways designed to allow leaders to move undetected or escape during crisis. Historical events, such as invasions, civil unrest, or political threats, prompted the development of these secure pathways. Some routes remain undocumented, fueling speculation about their extent and purpose. Researchers theorize that these passages not only served as escape routes, but also as strategic tools for discreet communication, transportive documents, or secretive meetings within Vatican walls. 21. Buried relics. Buried relics are among the Vatican's most closely guarded secrets. These include ancient artifacts, saintly remains, and items of religious significance. Many are housed in crypts, secret rooms, or underground vaults, inaccessible to scholars or the public. Historical records indicate that these relics were protected during wars, invasions, and political upheavals, reflecting the Church's commitment to preserving sacred heritage. Some relics are rumored to possess alleged mystical properties, though such claims remain speculative. 22. Altered historical records evidence suggests that certain historical documents have been modified, annotated, or censored to reflect the Church's preferred narrative. Alterations may involve dates, authorship, or content, affecting interpretations of critical events. Scholars studying these discrepancies note that some changes were likely motivated by doctrinal control, political expedience, or protection of institutional reputation. The practice of record alteration underscores the Vatican's dual commitment to preservation and secrecy, balancing historical truth with institutional authority. 23. Lost scientific knowledge. The Vatican has historically been a repository, not just of religious texts, but also of scientific knowledge. Documents and manuscripts suggest that discoveries in medicine, astronomy, and natural philosophy were collected, studied, and sometimes withheld from public dissemination. Speculation exists that some of this knowledge was considered too advanced, dangerous, or contradictory to Church teachings, leading to suppression. While some claims remain unverified, the potential scope of lost or hidden scientific knowledge highlights the Vatican's role as custodian of both spiritual and worldly wisdom. 24. Suppressed discoveries. Closely related to lost scientific knowledge are suppressed discoveries, encompassing innovations, archaeological findings, or historical data. Documents in secret archives may reveal evidence contradicting mainstream narratives or threatening to destabilize accepted beliefs. The reasons for suppression are often political, religious, or cultural, emphasizing the Vatican's focus on control of information. Scholars who gain partial access report encountering texts and artifacts that hint at hidden truths about civilizations, technology, and human understanding. 25. Faith versus secrecy. The tension between faith and secrecy is a cornerstone of the Vatican's historical identity. On one hand, the Church presents itself as the custodian of spiritual truth, guiding billions of believers in moral and theological matters. On the other hand, centuries of secrecy surrounding archives, relics, and documents suggest a parallel concern with controlling information. Scholars argue that this duality emerges from a desire to preserve institutional authority. By restricting access to sensitive materials, the Vatican ensures that interpretations of history, doctrine, and prophecy remain within sanctioned channels. Rumors persist that some documents reveal internal conflicts, doctrinal inconsistencies, or politically inconvenient truths, raising ethical questions about the Church's transparency. This conflict between faith and secrecy is not merely theoretical. It has tangible consequences. It shapes how history is recorded, how knowledge is disseminated, and how believers engage with the Church. The enduring secrecy underscores the Vatican's belief that spiritual authority may require control over information, a practice that continues to fascinate and concern scholars worldwide. 26. Scholars who entered archives. Access to the Vatican's secret archives is restricted to scholars who meet rigorous qualifications. Over the centuries, only a select few have gained permission to study the collections firsthand. These scholars often dedicate years to deciphering manuscripts, letters, and records, uncovering insights that are otherwise inaccessible. Accounts from these researchers reveal the rigorous protocols in place. Manuscripts are handled under strict supervision, notes must be approved, and copying is severely limited. Some scholars report discovering anomalous texts, marginalia, and documents that contradict accepted narratives. Speculation surrounds the extent of what these scholars have uncovered. Some suggest that certain documents could challenge prevailing religious interpretations or historical accounts. The selective access emphasizes the Vatican's strategy of controlling not only the content of knowledge, but who can interpret it, a practice with profound implications for both scholarship and public understanding. 27. Testimonies never released. Throughout history, individuals who have entered the Vatican as inner circles or accessed restricted archives have occasionally provided testimonies that were never publicly released. These accounts may involve internal disputes, controversial decisions, or observations about sensitive historical events. The suppression of these testimonies reflects the Church's concern with maintaining institutional reputation and authority. While some argue that this practice protects the faithful from potentially destabilizing information, others view it as a barrier to transparency. These unreleased accounts fuel speculation, leading researchers to wonder what critical insights about church politics, diplomacy, or theology might remain hidden from public scrutiny. 28. Vatican libraries off-limits beyond the secret archives. The Vatican Library itself contains sections entirely off-limits to the public and even to most scholars. These areas hold manuscripts, rare books, and artifacts whose significance is deemed too sensitive for general study. Restricted collections may include early theological debates, lost scientific treatises, and esoteric works. The limited access ensures that the interpretation of these materials remains controlled, preventing potential challenges to official narratives. Scholars who have glimpsed these off-limits sections report encountering documents that suggest a broader, more complex historical record than publicly acknowledged. 29. Censored religious texts throughout history. The Church has censored or suppressed certain religious texts deemed heretical, politically inconvenient, or spiritually misleading. These texts range from early Christian writings to theological treatises that diverged from orthodox doctrine. Censorship often involved indexing, removal, or controlled circulation, effectively shaping the boundaries of acceptable thought. Some suppressed texts contained interpretations of Scripture or practices that could have altered the course of church history had they been widely disseminated. The ongoing secrecy surrounding these texts highlights the Vatican's enduring interest in curating religious knowledge, balancing access with control. 30. Early church power wars. The early church was not only a spiritual institution, but also a political organization embroiled in internal power struggles. Disputes over leadership, doctrinal authority, and control over communities often escalated into intense rivalries among bishops, popes, and influential families. Documents preserved in restricted archives suggest that these conflicts involved strategic alliances, covert negotiations, and even targeted eliminations. Understanding these power dynamics provides insight into the Church's evolution and its mechanisms for consolidating authority. While much of this history remains classified, it demonstrates that political intrigue has long been intertwined with religious leadership. 31. Disappeared cardinals. The phenomenon of disappeared or suddenly reassigned cardinals is one of the Vatican's enduring mysteries. Throughout centuries, certain high-ranking clergy vanish from public records, often during periods of political or doctrinal tension. Scholars speculate that these disappearances may have been orchestrated to neutralize dissent, prevent leaks, or protect institutional secrets. While concrete evidence is scarce, the patterns suggest that the Vatican has historically taken extreme measures to maintain control over internal hierarchy, ensuring that sensitive knowledge remains inaccessible. 32. Unsolved Vatican crimes. The Vatican has witnessed incidents classified as crimes within or around its walls. Some involve theft of valuable manuscripts or relics, while others hint at murders or mysterious disappearances. Many cases were quickly resolved, leaving researchers questioning whether rapid closures obscured larger truths. Historical accounts describe incidents where the Vatican exercised discretion in investigation, possibly to protect reputations or avoid scandal. Though details are often scarce, these unsolved cases fuel speculation about internal vulnerabilities and secret enforcement mechanisms. 33. Murder inside Vatican, 1998 case. One of the most notorious modern incidents is the 1998 murder of a Vatican employee, which shook the institution and attracted international attention. While officially closed, Investigative journalists and researchers have raised questions about circumstances, motives, and potential cover-ups. The case highlights the intersection of secrecy, power, and vulnerability within the Vatican. Even in contemporary times, the institution's control over information ensures that the public receives a carefully curated narrative, often leaving unanswered questions about the full extent of internal conflicts. 34. Rapid case closures. A recurring pattern within Vatican history is the swift resolution of potentially scandalous cases. Whether involving theft, disputes, or unexplained deaths, cases are often closed with minimal public disclosure. Scholars argue that these rapid closures serve multiple purposes: protecting the Church's image, preserving internal authority, and limiting external scrutiny. While some closures are justified, others may conceal information of historical, political, or theological significance, reinforcing the perception of the Vatican as a highly secretive institution. 35. Why truth is withheld. Ultimately, the Vatican's extensive secrecy raises a fundamental question. Why is truth withheld? Multiple factors intersect: doctrinal control, institutional authority, political influence, and historical preservation. Researchers suggest that withholding information is not always about deception. It may also reflect a strategy to protect the faithful from destabilizing knowledge, maintain internal cohesion, or preserve centuries of accumulated authority. Regardless, the tension between transparency and secrecy remains a defining characteristic of the Vatican, shaping how history, doctrine, and power are perceived both inside and outside its walls. Vatican and UFO claims. Part 3 concludes with the Vatican's alleged involvement in UFO and extraterrestrial phenomena. In recent decades, statements from church officials, combined with declassified documents and testimonies, suggest that the Vatican has monitored unidentified aerial phenomena. Some claim that reports of extraterrestrial life are cataloged within the Church's scientific and observational facilities, such as the Vatican Astronomical Observatory. While no official confirmation exists regarding direct encounters, the very acknowledgement of these investigations fuels speculation about the Church's interest in cosmic phenomena and theological implications. David Grush allegations. In recent years, former government officials, such as David Grush, have claimed that the Vatican maintains records related to unidentified aerial phenomena. These allegations suggest that the Church may have received, studied, or even stored materials relating to extraterrestrial encounters. While no conclusive evidence has been made public, the claims have sparked intense debate among researchers. Grush's assertions imply that certain Vatican archives could contain historical accounts of phenomena not disclosed to the public, ranging from unexplained aerial sightings to alleged alien artifacts. The Church has not officially confirmed or denied these claims, leaving the matter shrouded in secrecy. Scholars analyzing these allegations emphasize the potential implications. If verified, such documents could profoundly impact theology, science, and public understanding of the universe. The Vatican's careful silence only amplifies curiosity, fueling speculation about what might lie in classified sections of its scientific and observational collections. UFO crash in Italy, 1930s. Historical rumors circulate regarding a supposed UFO crash in Italy during the 1930s, with alleged debris and eyewitness testimonies reportedly examined by church officials. While concrete documentation is scarce, some accounts suggest that the Vatican may have taken possession of recovered fragments for study, possibly consulting with scientists within the Vatican Observatory. The secrecy surrounding such events aligns with the pattern of the Church quietly gathering information on anomalous phenomena while publicly maintaining theological orthodoxy. Researchers speculate that knowledge of these incidents may have influenced Vatican positions on cosmology and the theological implications of life beyond Earth. Even if details are embellished, the persistence of these stories underscores the intersection of faith, secrecy, and the unexplained within Vatican history. Vatican use secret transfer. Reports indicate that during the 20th century, the Vatican may have participated in covert transfers of classified materials to the United States, particularly during the Cold War. These transfers allegedly included documents related to UFO sightings, scientific experiments, and intelligence. While most evidence remains anecdotal, the narrative is supported by claims from whistleblowers and declassified intelligence files, hinting at coordination between church officials and government agencies. The implications are significant. A religious institution potentially acting as a conduit for sensitive scientific and political information highlights the global reach and influence of Vatican secrecy. No official denials. Despite numerous allegations, the Vatican has consistently issued no official denials regarding UFO research, alien life, or paranormal investigations. This deliberate silence feeds speculation, allowing rumors to persist unchallenged. Observers note that the absence of denial is a strategic form of control. By neither confirming nor refuting claims, the Church maintains authority over narratives while avoiding potential controversy or doctrinal conflict. Such tactics underscore the Vatican's long-standing approach to secrecy, balancing public perception with internal knowledge. Alien life and church doctrine. Discussions on extraterrestrial life within the Vatican intersect theology and science. Clergy and scholars within the Church have debated the implications of intelligent life beyond Earth, considering questions of salvation, morality, and the universality of Christ's teachings. While no official doctrine confirms the existence of aliens, the Vatican's engagement with these topics, through its observatories and theological commissions, suggests an awareness of potential discoveries, reflecting a cautious yet open-minded approach. Researchers speculate that archival records may contain theological assessments, letters, or reports that anticipate the consequences of extraterrestrial contact on Catholic doctrine. Vatican Astronomical Observatory. The Vatican Astronomical Observatory, established centuries ago, serves as both a scientific institution and a window into the Church's engagement with cosmology. Beyond mainstream research, it is rumored that the observatory also monitors celestial anomalies and catalogs unexplained phenomena. Documents preserved in the observatory may include observational logs, reports of unusual aerial objects, and correspondence with international scientists. This dual role illustrates the Vatican's blend of scientific inquiry and theological reflection, positioning the Church as both a custodian of knowledge and a participant in investigations that bridge faith and empirical observation. Hidden star maps within the Vatican's restricted collections are reportedly hidden star maps, some of which predate modern astronomical catalogs. Scholars suggest these maps may include constellations, planetary alignments, and celestial phenomena observed centuries ago. The secrecy surrounding these artifacts implies that they could contain knowledge not yet integrated into public astronomy, or interpretations influenced by theological frameworks. While access remains limited, the existence of these maps underscores the Church's long-standing interest in observing, recording, and potentially controlling knowledge about the cosmos. Demonic texts and exorcism records. The Vatican maintains extensive records on exorcism and demonic phenomena, including case files, correspondence, and ritual instructions. Some documents describe unusual possessions, alleged supernatural occurrences, and theological debates on the nature of evil. Access to these records is tightly controlled, reflecting the Church's concern with both doctrinal accuracy and public perception. Scholars who have reviewed portions of these files note the complexity and diversity of cases, ranging from mental health explanations to claims of genuine supernatural activity, highlighting the intersection of faith, secrecy, and human experience. Paranormal claims beyond exorcism. The Vatican is reportedly interested in broader paranormal phenomena, including apparitions, prophetic visions, and unexplained events. Documentation exists suggesting that Church officials investigated certain claims with scientific and theological scrutiny, distinguishing between natural, psychological, and spiritual explanations. While much remains confidential, such records reveal the Vatican's systematic approach to evaluating phenomena that might challenge conventional understanding or influence faith communities. Possession files. Individual cases of alleged possession are meticulously recorded, often involving detailed descriptions, medical evaluations, and ritual outcomes. These files highlight the Vatican's dual responsibility, providing spiritual guidance while ensuring that investigations adhere to ethical and procedural standards. Access is extremely restricted, emphasizing the sensitive nature of knowledge related to spiritual interventions, the human psyche, and religious authority. Occult ritual accusations. Historical documents reference accusations of occult rituals conducted within or around church domains, sometimes involving clerics or external actors. Investigations were typically confidential, with records stored in secret archives. Scholars suggest that these cases illustrate the Vatican's vigilance against practices deemed threatening to doctrine or institutional stability, as well as the Church's awareness of human attempts to manipulate spiritual power. The intersection of rumor, allegation, and archival evidence fuels ongoing fascination with the Church's hidden history of occult oversight. Vatican gold reserves beyond spiritual and intellectual wealth. The Vatican controls substantial financial reserves, including gold stored in highly secure facilities. These assets are tightly managed, with limited transparency regarding allocation, movement, or valuation. Researchers and journalists speculate that access to historical financial records could reveal links between church wealth, political influence, and secret dealings. The secrecy surrounding gold reserves underscores the Vatican's commitment to protecting institutional stability and autonomy through both spiritual and material means. Vatican Bank Secrets. The Vatican Bank, officially known as the Institute for the Works of Religion, IOR, has long been shrouded in secrecy. Its operations, far from the public eye, have drawn scrutiny for their opaque financial practices, confidential accounts, and connections to global banking networks. Investigations suggest that the IOR manages assets for clergy, religious orders, and charitable institutions. But there are repeated allegations of money laundering, secret investment schemes, and unreported transactions. Historical scandals, including the collapse of Banco Ambrosiano in the 1980s, linked to the Vatican Bank, reveal a network of influence extending beyond Italy. While official statements emphasize transparency and ethical conduct, researchers argue that much of the bank's history remains hidden within classified archives, reflecting the Vatican's need to protect both financial stability and institutional authority. Financial scandals over the decades. Numerous financial scandals have rocked the Vatican, from embezzlement to mismanagement of assets. These events often involve high-ranking officials, complex offshore arrangements, and disputed real estate deals. The Vatican has taken steps to reform banking practices, yet the historical record suggests patterns of secrecy, rapid internal resolution, and limited public disclosure. Scholars analyzing these scandals note that they highlight a dual tension between spiritual mission and temporal wealth, raising questions about accountability, governance, and the extent of hidden influence. Offshore wealth. The Vatican reportedly holds wealth and assets in offshore accounts, investment vehicles, and global financial instruments. While exact figures remain undisclosed, experts estimate that these holdings are substantial, spanning real estate, stocks, and precious metals. The use of offshore structures allows the Church to maintain financial autonomy, protect sensitive assets, and navigate complex international tax and regulatory environments. Critics argue that this secrecy can obscure the full scope of the Church's global economic power, while proponents emphasize the need for institutional independence in a politically complex world. Black Pope myth. The so-called Black Pope refers to the Superior General of the Jesuits, a title steeped in myth and conspiracy theories. Allegedly, this figure wields hidden influence over Vatican decisions, politics, and global affairs, though the reality is far more nuanced. While Jesuit leaders have historically held significant sway in education, diplomacy, and ecclesiastical policy, claims of covert domination are largely speculative. Nonetheless, the persistence of the myth reflects public fascination with hidden power structures within the Church and the blending of rumor, perception, and historical fact. Shadow power structures beyond official hierarchies. The Vatican is believed to operate through shadow power networks, consisting of influential clergy, advisors, and strategic alliances. These networks facilitate discreet decision-making, confidential communication, and influence over both religious and political spheres. Researchers suggest that these structures ensure continuity of authority, manage sensitive information, and maintain the Church's influence over global affairs, often without public accountability. Secret councils. Historical and contemporary records indicate the existence of secret councils and advisory groups within the Vatican, convened to deliberate on matters of doctrine, policy, or strategy. Their proceedings are rarely disclosed, and minutes, if recorded, are kept confidential. Such councils enable the Church to respond to crises, guide international engagement, and coordinate internal governance while limiting exposure to external scrutiny. These bodies exemplify how secrecy is institutionalized as a mechanism of control and influence. Global political influence. The Vatican wields significant political influence worldwide, often operating through diplomatic channels, international agreements, and informal networks. Its role extends beyond spiritual guidance into realms such as humanitarian policy, conflict mediation, and geopolitical strategy. While much of this influence is exercised quietly, archival documents and correspondence reveal strategic interventions in elections, policy decisions, and international negotiations, reflecting the Church's capacity to shape events across continents. Media control and silence. The Vatican has historically managed its public image through careful control of media, publications, and communications. From press offices to official statements, the Church strategically disseminates information while withholding sensitive details. This approach ensures that narratives align with institutional priorities, minimizes controversy, and shapes global perception of its actions. Scholars studying media interactions note that selective disclosure and strategic silence are central to the Vatican's broader approach to secrecy and influence. Cultural impact of Vatican myths. Legends, myths, and conspiracy theories surrounding the Vatican, ranging from hidden treasures to secret societies, have a profound cultural impact. Literature, film, and popular discourse often amplify these stories, blending fact and speculation. While some narratives are exaggerated, they reflect societal fascination with the Church's hidden authority, esoteric knowledge, and historical mysteries, influencing public perception and cultural imagination worldwide. Hollywood and Vatican secrets? Hollywood has long been intrigued by the Vatican, producing films and documentaries that explore both real and imagined secrets. These portrayals, while dramatized, often draw upon historical events, archival references, and public scandals. The intersection of cinema, research, and rumor has amplified interest in Vatican secrecy, creating a global narrative that blends entertainment with investigative curiosity. The Church's minimal engagement with such portrayals further fuels speculation and fascination. Books that were banned. Throughout history, numerous books have been banned or censored by the Vatican, either due to doctrinal conflicts, political sensitivity, or perceived threat to faith. The Index Librorum Prohibitorum cataloged texts considered dangerous or heretical, ranging from theological critiques to scientific works. While the index was officially abolished in the 20th century, restricted access to certain historical manuscripts continues, reflecting the Church's ongoing concern with curating knowledge and controlling interpretation. Researchers who disappeared. Some scholars and journalists investigating Vatican finances, archives, or secret operations have reportedly faced intimidation, disappearance, or abrupt termination of research access. While not all claims are verified, patterns suggest that attempts to uncover sensitive information can be met with institutional resistance. These incidents highlight the tension between transparency, investigative inquiry, and institutional preservation, illustrating the high stakes of probing into the Church's hidden spheres of influence. Whistleblowers. Over the decades, several individuals connected to the Vatican clergy, staff, or external researchers have emerged as whistleblowers, revealing sensitive or controversial information. These disclosures range from financial irregularities and archival secrecy to alleged paranormal research and political interventions. Whistleblowers often face immense pressure, including professional ostracization, legal challenges, or threats to personal safety. Their testimonies, however, provide rare insight into the hidden workings of the Church, exposing mechanisms of control, secrecy, and influence that would otherwise remain inaccessible. The impact of such revelations is profound, influencing public perception, prompting investigative journalism, and occasionally forcing institutional reforms. Yet the Vatican continues to maintain tight control over official narratives, emphasizing selective transparency. Why archives stay closed? The Vatican's secret archives remain largely inaccessible to the public for several reasons. Security concerns, preservation of ancient documents, and protection of sensitive information are cited officially. However, historians and researchers suggest deeper motives: control over historical interpretation, doctrinal consistency, and safeguarding institutional authority. Many documents contain information about political alliances, controversial religious decisions, or sensitive personal correspondence involving clergy and global leaders. By restricting access, the Vatican ensures that interpretations align with its preferred narrative, preventing potential scandal or doctrinal challenges. The archive's continued closure underscores the Church's commitment to secrecy as a tool of influence and preservation. What would change if opening the Vatican archives could have dramatic implications for history, theology, and public understanding? Scholars speculate that previously hidden letters, treaties, or financial records could reshape perceptions of Church involvement in global events, from wars to diplomacy. Lost or censored documents might illuminate controversies, alter accepted historical timelines, or reveal previously unknown interactions with secular powers. Theological implications could be equally profound, especially if texts challenge prevailing interpretations of doctrine or canon law. Public access might foster greater transparency and accountability, but could also trigger faith crises or institutional unrest, highlighting the delicate balance the Church maintains between disclosure and preservation. Faith crisis possibility. The potential revelation of Vatican secrets raises the possibility of a faith crisis among believers. Exposure of controversial actions, suppressed knowledge, or historical complicity in political or social controversies could challenge the perception of the Church as a purely moral authority. Scholars and theologians debate whether transparency would strengthen faith by confronting challenges openly or undermine it by eroding trust. The Church's historical approach suggests a belief that controlled disclosure is necessary to maintain spiritual cohesion, reflecting centuries of managing the tension between institutional integrity and the spiritual welfare of the faithful. Truth versus control. A central theme of Vatican secrecy is the tension between truth and institutional control. On one hand, preserving historical documents and internal knowledge ensures continuity and authority. On the other hand, withholding information raises questions about ethics, transparency, and accountability. Researchers argue that the Church's approach exemplifies a deliberate prioritization of control over unfiltered truth, ensuring that revelations occur selectively and in ways that minimize disruption. This balancing act has profound consequences, shaping not only how history is recorded, but also how power, faith, and authority are perceived both internally and globally. Public right to know. The debate over the public's right to know is intense. Scholars, journalists, and historians argue that access to Vatican archives and hidden documents is essential for historical accuracy, accountability, and informed discourse. The Church, however, maintains that unrestricted access could compromise sensitive information, theological interpretations, and diplomatic relations. This conflict reflects a broader question. To what extent should religious institutions balance transparency with responsibility, especially when revelations could have global social, political, or spiritual consequences? The ongoing restriction underscores the Vatican's prioritization of institutional stewardship over unrestricted public knowledge. Final hidden prophecies. Among the most enigmatic secrets are the Vatican's alleged hidden prophecies, preserved in manuscripts, coded letters, and ancient texts. Some claim these prophecies address global events, ecclesiastical crises, or eschatological developments. While much remains speculative, access to these documents could potentially reveal insights into historical predictions, theological interpretations, or the Church's understanding of future crises. The secrecy surrounding prophecies emphasizes the Vatican's belief that knowledge of the future must be carefully guarded, both to protect institutional authority and to prevent potential social unrest. End-time speculations connected to hidden prophecies are theories about end-time scenarios, apocalypse predictions, and eschatological planning. Some researchers suggest that the Vatican has studied historical, theological, and astronomical data to anticipate crises that could affect humanity or the Church. While direct evidence is limited, the persistence of these speculations reflects enduring human fascination with the Church's perceived insight into cosmic and temporal events. The tension between rumor, scholarly analysis, and official secrecy ensures that end-time speculation remains a perennial topic of intrigue and debate. What Vatican admits versus hides. The Vatican carefully curates what it admits publicly and what it keeps hidden. Official statements, press releases, and authorized publications often present a controlled narrative, emphasizing moral guidance, historical achievements, and spiritual leadership. Behind the scenes, however, archives, restricted documents, and confidential correspondence contain layers of information that remain classified due to doctrinal, political, or ethical concerns. This duality underscores a central feature of Vatican operations: the selective management of truth to balance public perception, institutional authority, and spiritual stewardship. The final question: should these secrets ever be revealed? The ultimate question is whether the Vatican's secrets should be disclosed. Advocates of transparency argue that openness fosters historical accuracy, accountability, and informed faith, empowering believers and scholars alike. Opponents caution that unrestricted disclosure could destabilize faith, provoke controversy, or compromise sensitive diplomatic and religious operations. The decision involves a complex interplay of ethics, theology, history, and power. The Vatican's centuries-long approach suggests a belief that secrets are sometimes necessary to preserve institutional integrity, maintain doctrinal authority, and protect the faithful. This final question remains unresolved, leaving the public and scholars to ponder the delicate balance between revelation and preservation. Disclaimer: this documentary presents all information strictly based on credible research, historical records, scholarly analysis, and verified sources. Every fact, date, event, and archival insight shared in this video is grounded in documented evidence. Some topics may include widely reported rumors or speculative claims. These have been clearly identified and are intended for informational context only. This content is not intended to target, insult, or spread hate toward any individual, religious group, organization, or influential figure. It does not promote misinformation, personal opinion, or prejudice of any kind. The purpose of this documentary is solely educational, investigative, and informational, to illuminate historical events, religious truths, political influences, cultural phenomena, and hidden narratives. All interpretations or conclusions are presented for informational purposes only. and viewers are encouraged to critically assess and research further if they wish. This documentary does not claim to reveal absolute truth, but rather aims to provide a well-researched analytical perspective on hidden and historical matters. The content has been carefully prepared to ensure transparency, accuracy, and neutrality, leaving no room for misunderstanding, misinterpretation, or criticism regarding intent, bias, or accuracy.